Hello, welcome to the Kam Johal show, and today we're in the studio for the first time in our series. So I'd like to welcome my guest today, Parambeer Singh, who runs an incredible organisation and works with a lot of our community. So I'll introduce you without any further ado. Parambeer, welcome to the show.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Yeah. So tell me, very interesting story. So you're born in this country?
Yeah, born and bred in Birmingham.
Birmingham, local boy.
Birmingham, yeah, local boy from Smethwick.
Yeah, so we should clap for that, shall we?
Go on, Smethwick in the house.
Yeah, okay. So, you obviously went to school here, did all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
What was it like growing up?
I enjoyed it actually. Yeah, born in the 80s, growing up in the 90s and the 2000s. Really good, really interesting. Smethwick, our community here, different type of communities, multicultural community. And sometimes you have a few bits of riffraff, but
Sure.
Majority of the time it's been really good. Yeah.
Okay. So, a huge community, as you say. So, what did it feel like? Did it feel like little Punjab?
Yeah, it's like a mini Punjab. Back in the day, you'd walk down the high street. Soho Road was amazing. It's like it's like Jalandhar or something.
Yeah.
You're walking through, you're hearing the music shops, the CDs, the suit shops, everything. So times have changed drastically.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it was really electric, the atmosphere, wasn't it?
100%. Soho Road isn't what it used to be.
No.
Smethwick High Street isn't what it used to be. But new people, still exciting times. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what happens in terms of communities that emigrate always come to cities, and the areas are the cheapest. So Smethwick, I imagine, when our forefathers came, houses were cheap, so they settled there, and we've gradually moved out, and other people have moved in, haven't they?
That's it. Yeah. So everyone's moving into your Smethwick, your West Brom, your Albury areas, or your Small Heath, and then now, slowly, as you're doing well within jobs or own businesses, then slowly people start branching out to your Solihull, Harborne,
of course,
etc. So like in Leicester, it's Oadby or whatnot. So yeah,
very true, very true. So your family still lives here?
Yep. So mum and dad are, brothers still in Smethwick. Yes, I'm in the local area. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that we were talking about prior to the show was that that you were born here and you're, now you wear a turban and have a beard, etc. But your father had his hair cut when you were young, right?
Yep.
And so at some point he decided that wasn't for him. And I just want to talk about that because obviously a lot of our community either goes through that or sometimes we wrestle with these issues. And, what was that like for you to see that with your father? Because I understand you always didn't have your haircut at all, did you?
No, I've never had my hair cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So,
but your dad did.
Yeah.
So, but then he started growing his beard and is he a Amritdhari now or not?
So he's Amritdhari now, yeah.
Okay.
He's been Amritdhari, I think, for over 20 plus years now. He's always kind of had longish type of hair. He was like the Asian Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
So, let's just say we're driving to Leicester or something on the motorway and you got this, bus driving down of school kids and they just looked at the car. He had the mustache.
Okay.
So he was like the Asian Hulk Hogan and people would just look outside and just start waving. It was just weird.
Right.
But yeah, so, he was a munna basically. We had little guttiya growing up. And yeah, then, I think family fell through just a few hard times. My mom got ill. She had some kidney problems. And then from there, I think dad obviously took a bit more notice of what are actually my kids doing.
Okay.
So, mom was, kind of like running the household as in, what mothers were doing back in the day and they still do to this day. So food, taking us everywhere, as in Gurdwara, Punjabi classes, etc. Obviously, mom wasn't at home at the moment, she's in hospital. So I think it was a wake-up call for him of, okay, what are your kids going to do? How are they going to eat? I guess. So then he just, made a conscious effort of, okay, like you would back in the days, you'd, go out Friday, Saturday night with your boys. So we kind of stopped that.
Okay.
Made sure every Saturday and Sunday we were still going to Punjabi school. From having one job. So he's always been a milkman. That was his trade. Waking up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to do his rounds. And then he'll be back home for about 1, 2 o'clock. And then, mom being ill and in hospital, he then had a second job and a third job. And growing up while I was in high school, I didn't even know.
Okay.
Yeah, like one day he just rocked up in a van. Oh, what are you doing in a van? This isn't your milk van. This is like a big massive delivery van.
Okay.
And that's when I realised, okay, he's got 3 jobs in total. Oh, what's going on? I know mum's ill, but everything's normal. We're still being fed.
Yeah.
Clothes are there. And yeah, so it's only until after, when you speak about it with your parents, when you grow up, that, wow, okay, yeah, dad had 3 jobs.
Yeah. But, you know, obviously what's happened is he took responsibility, didn't he?
That's it, yeah.
And the beauty of what he did was that you didn't actually notice anything had really changed, because, I mean, that's really admirable, isn't it?
100%,
you know, it's very, very easy for a family to fall apart when something like this happens. But your dad kind of stepped up to the plate. Yeah.
I think that, you know, of working hard from day one has always been there. You know, my Babaji, never get to saw him, so, you know, rest in peace, but never get to saw him, but I heard that he was a hard worker. In the coal mines. He's working there, passed away before dad even got married. So, but he's had that work ethic from them, and then all my Thai honey, everyone's working, so he's had that, you know, strong hard work ethic.
That's our community, isn't it?
100%.
You know, especially in these areas here in the Midlands, it's the heart of, you know, where we came as a community, and all of our grandfathers and fathers worked in foundries.
100%.
Very, very hard work, and that work ethic has carried on through to the generations. And it's really been beneficial to us, hasn't it?
100%. You know, from seeing him and how he used to work, with myself, like, you know, I've got a 9-to-5 job. Evenings we have our classes, Bhangra classes, Pride of Punjab, and you know, so as well as our Bhangra classes, you know, weekends we have shows as well, so we're up and down the country. Okay, so you grow up and you go to university. And okay, you have the benefit of the whole Soho Road atmosphere, which was great. So was that the influences in what you would later start in Pride of Punjab? I've always had a passion in music. So going to school, I was in the talent shows, you know, playing a keyboard or doing dances. You know, asked to join Bhangra groups when I was like 16. I thought I'd become like the next David Beckham or something.
Of Bhangra or football?
Of football. So for anyone that plays football with me, you know how bad I am or good. It just depends. But yeah, so I thought, no, I'm a good footballer. You know, I had a good 1 or 2 years, I think, in football, and I thought I could take it far. But then, then I just fell into, you know, going to college, not doing so well at college, started working, different types of jobs, sales, labour, all sorts of things. And eventually just went back into university, came out, and I went to Manchester.
Okay, let me just stop you there. So tell me about the football, because, you know, you mentioned David Beckham, you know, one of the most iconic footballers in the world. So you had aspirations of doing that. Why did that not come about? Were you just not good enough, or didn't you have the support?
I had the support. My dad would always take me.
Okay.
But I just don't think... I was good, but like I don't think I was good enough.
Okay. Because I always ponder, you know, why we haven't got more, especially Punjabi footballers, and why they're not coming through. So you've had a little insight.
I think nowadays there's more coaches, so technical ability. I think back in my day, it was like, you know, get the ball, pass it around, or just hoof it over, just route one football. You know, when I was playing 11-side, sometimes that is basically what they would do, or just run down the wing and just ping it in. Now what we're seeing is a lot more coaches, individual plans of, you know, how it is that you want to play. You want to be a striker, a defender, a midfield, creating, or defensive. There's a lot more plans, whereas, you know, back in the days, you just, you know, you play there. Where do you play? Defence. Okay. You look like a skinny lad. Right back or left back?
Of course.
You're a big lad. Yeah, you play centre back.
But nobody's still coming through, though, are they?
No, I think there's a few. There's a kid, Jan Danda.
That's right.
Coming through. I think he's Liverpool Swansea now. I think. There are a few that I can't remember now off the top of my head, but we're slowly coming through. I think parents nowadays, so like for example myself now, when I do ever become a parent, if my kids want to become a dancer or whatever, I say to my wife all the time, look, if I have a kid, if it's a boy, let's just say, but he wants to become a ballerina dancer, okay, you've got to become the best ballerina dancer there if you're going to do it. So if a kid's got talent, push him. You've got to become the best of what it is you're doing. Have education as well to fall back on. You know, you can't be playing football the rest of your life, so you're gonna have something to fall back on.
Do you think that's the issue? Because, you know, I as you know, I interviewed Sikh and Raj from Kickley Roadshow a little while ago. They're friends of yours.
Yes.
So they went out and got themselves an education and still do what they do, and they've travelled all over the world.
Yeah.
But there's this element, isn't there, in our community that we've got to play it safe. We've got to go and get an education. You know, the average life of a footballer, for instance, is about 8 years. You know, they could make more money in a year than anybody earns in a lifetime.
100%.
But do you think that we're not really, because we're great business people, you know, and we're really passionate about a lot of things, but are we passionate enough about sport to risk it all and go for it?
I don't think so. No.
We're not, are we?
No, 100% no.
Right.
I think it's like, you know, Brai Garlo.
Yeah.
I went to college. You know, first year I didn't do great. You know, do accounts, do business, do this, do that. I wasn't passionate about it whatsoever. I wasn't. Just did it because mum and dad asked me to do. I wanted to do a music course or a sound engineering course. No. What's that? We could take you to the Godra, the jacket, tabla sekli, bajali. Yeah. But no. Go to college and do this. Do X, Y, and Z.
But you said the same thing. You said, if my children, you know, want us to be a ballerina, dancer, or etc.
Yeah.
But they've got to get an education.
Push it. So like nowadays, everyone's talking about degrees. Do degree this, degree that. But now everyone's got a degree.
That's right.
So everyone's applying for the finance job, and
you're not special anymore, are you?
No.
It's a norm to have a degree.
100%.
Okay.
So there's nothing special about a degree anymore. But if I've been like saying some of the students who come to my classes, I'm thinking about uni, or I'm thinking about this. What do you reckon I should do? If you want to enjoy yourself, go to uni.
Yes.
Right. Because you do your studies and you have a good time. But if you really want to have a good time, but really make something of yourself, these apprentices or these kind of, you know, where you're actually you're working for 4 days, then you're doing education for 1 day. That's the best way to go.
Okay.
Because then after you're done, 2-3 years, compared to a graduate, that person's got that experience.
Well, we've got some interesting times coming up now, haven't we, in the economic climate that we're in. You know, I'd hate to have been graduating this year, or maybe worse, even next year to come.
Yeah.
So, you know, these things are really going to fall out
100%.
in terms of, you know, the internships and things will disappear.
A lot of internships have disappeared.
Yeah.
Loads. My brother-in-law recently just got one, luckily enough, way before this had happened. You know, I was working for a company last year. November, December, I thought, no, I'm going to make a change. I want to try something different. Working for an educational company. And, you know, the saying goes, last one's in, first one's out.
That's right.
So that happened. So I had a job in January. March came round, that happened. Was put in furlough for a little while. But then I knew I was going to basically, as they had said, you're going to, first one's in, last one's out.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was it? No, last one's out. Whatever it is. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah.
First in, last in, first out.
Yeah, last in, first out. So that's basically what happened. And and then literally I made a couple of phone calls. You know, within the circuit that I'm in, you know, I know a lot of people. A few people knew my son that, you know, he might still be looking elsewhere. Got a phone call, and now I'm an office manager for a double glazing firm. So anybody need any windows?
So that's the day job, right?
That's the day job now, yeah.
So what we really want to talk about is, you know, people would call it your side hustle or your passion. So this is, you know, the group that you run, and you know, you have your own dance group, I believe.
That's right,
Yeah, but you're running these fantastic classes.
Yeah.
So you went to university. What did you study?
International business and marketing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that in Manchester?
Yep.
Okay. So when did you start your interest in Bhangra? You know, did the football kind of disappear and this took over?
Yeah. So Bhangra was, I presume, when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
You know, listening to the radio, Radio XL in those days, and you could record on the cassette player. That's how all my love started. And then from there, like I said, did it for a couple of years. College, started playing football. Hit university. There's a thing called the Bhangra Showdown competition in London or Birmingham. And there was a big craze for that. So I went to Manchester, myself and another gentleman, started a Bhangra Society in Manchester.
Okay, so Manchester didn't have any of that?
Whatsoever,
a lot of Punjabi students at the time or not?
A decent amount.
Okay.
Not compared to your Aston or your Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, you know, Northerners, you get your Scottish people there. So not a massive Asian community whatsoever there.
Okay, but enough to start
Enough to start,
Bhangra
yeah.
group.
We had Punjabis, Gujaratis, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, to start.
Do you have any English guys in?
We had a few who just come to the classes just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So it was wicked. We just had like loads of random people just coming in, trying it. It was good. Got to meet a lot of international students as well. And then I said, that's where the Bhangra Society Manchester started, which was called Ruha Punjabiyan.
Okay.
The soul
Is it
of
still
Bhangra.
there?
Still there, yeah.
Okay, so you guys were the founding fathers.
That's right, yeah.
Brilliant.
So
how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
2008.
Right. So not all that long ago, but long enough.
Yeah, long enough, 2020 now, so about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago, university.
So you leave uni, and so you leave and you come back into Birmingham.
Come back to Birmingham.
Okay, so and start your career.
Yep.
Okay, so what happens with the Bhangra now?
Bhangra, so, still knew the local lads, all right, in Smethwick. So, everyone knows the group, Gabru Punjab there.
Yes, of course.
So everyone knows them. Big love to the guys still, to some of the guys. But no, so, started dancing with them. They had an academy. Within a couple of months, I think it was like 5 months, I was within the first team. They were like, oh, no one's ever done it within that quick.
Right.
Started performing with the first team. Traveling to Newcastle on a Wednesday evening. Then on the weekend you go to Scotland. And on the Sunday you got 3 shows in London.
Okay.
It was just like crazy. As mad as it's this amazing gig life of Bhangra dancers. That was a good time. And then, with Asians, and money minded, politics happened. And then there was a split, unfortunately. Always fortunate.
So tell me something. Is there any money in that business?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I can't do it full time.
Okay, so there's not enough for it to be full time.
No.
So, but when you had your group and you like you said, you're doing a couple of gigs a day sometimes.
Yeah.
So were you being hired at weddings?
Weddings, yeah.
Okay, so does that pay well, or does it pay?
If you get, if you're a good group and you got a really good performance, a lot of energy about yourself, then you're the first team that people want to book.
Okay, so there's a little bit of money to be made.
Yeah, there's a bit of money to be made. Yeah, 100%,
okay.
Yeah.
And so obviously, like you're saying, that there was a split because of money.
That's it.
That's okay. Money does funny things to funny people,
That's
right?
it, yeah.
So what happened then?
Team split off. Two teams, 2 rivals. Fighting with the same name. And it got to the stage where like, you know what? No, I don't want that name no more. Forget it. Even to this day, I walk somewhere. Because we used to do a lot of music videos.
Yeah.
Oh, you're da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, I was, but now we're Lions of Punjab. Come over, Lions of Punjab. This is the Instagram, this is the Facebook. Check it out, go follow it. So it's like, I was part of it. You remember I used to be in the videos. I remember your face. Lions of Punjab is the new.
Okay, so how many people do you have in your team that run that?
So I think when Lions of Punjab started, it was probably about 6-8 of us. Then the team grew. Back again, I think we've got about 14, 16 members.
Okay.
Who go out. We've got the core dancers, the core singers, the core door players, etc., etc. So we've got the core members who go out to majority of the shows, and then if we need to fill in, back in the days we were just youngsters, no family commitments, going to the in-laws or something. So every weekend, shows.
Yes.
Now, as we're getting older, we've got to obviously pass that responsibility on to the youngsters.
So are you bringing in new people?
Yeah.
How much practice is involved? Because look, we all go to weddings and jump around, right? And we think that's Bhangra, but it obviously isn't. So how much practice is involved, and how many times a week would you be practicing?
When I first started out, I was doing it twice a week, 2 hours. So 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I was passionate about it. I loved it. I didn't know back then, but for me now, it was like a way of life. So you'd go home, you'd practice. Doing these shows where you got 500-600 people watching you. You want to put on a good show. You don't want to be the bad one. I remember doing the first ever big show I ever had, Sukhshinder Shinda.
And what was that like?
Amazing. Hit the stage and I was like, oh my God, all these phones are like click, click, all these cameras, flashlights, and then before you know it, bam, Kakapaji Ustad, he started dancing, just, followed him, watched him, the smile, the mudde that was just going, I was like, wicked, okay. and that's it. Just never stopped since.
Yeah, the nerves disappeared.
That's it.
Don't they?
Never disappeared. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Was that the highlight, or is there other things?
I've had loads, you know. So Sukshinda Shinda, Jazzy B, Dance with Diljit, Gurdas Man, Satinder Sartaj.
So you've done them all, huh?
Done some wicked ones. You know, Jump In, Harry Kane, Lewis Hamilton was there, and I think he was ready to just jump on with us.
Yeah.
Phil Neville.
Did you not invite them?
I don't think we could have.
Should have done it.
Phil Neville like got up, high fived, gave me a hug, and yeah, I don't know if he remembers that, but yeah, it was wicked.
See, that's the interesting thing, that you know, you could have any kind of career.
Yeah.
But you know, this kind of stuff, it transcends everybody, class, color, creed,
100%.
and look at where it's actually taken you and access to all these wonderful people.
100%, yeah.
And you know, have you been out outside of this country?
So I've been to Switzerland. You know, some of our tour team, Beats by Lions, they've been out, you know, Norway, America, all sorts. I've also been recently to a Bhangra competition in India. Okay. With the team Vasta Punjab, based in London. So big up Vasta Punjab. But yeah, we went to India, and basically we competed with all the best Bhangra folk teams in India. You know, we came third, which was an honour. So yeah, you know, I've been out. It's taken me places. Yeah. Taken me all over the country, this country. So yeah.
So access to people. Yeah. Meeting people that you would never have met.
100%. Been to Amsterdam, performed in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Been to countries that you would never have been to. We were discussing this with Raj and Suk a few weeks back. That, you know, they've travelled all over the world. Yeah. And this is the part that, you know, I'm trying to get across to our community. Yeah. That, you know, if your children want to do something outside of work, this 9-to-5 culture of careers is no longer safe. No. I was speaking to some of these big producers in our Bhangra scene, in the scene, and you know, they've taken the risk of, if you really want to give it your all, if you really want, whether it's music, Badminton, dance, or whatever it is you want to do, you've got to risk it. You've got to, you know, full out, you know, rather than doing the 8-9 hours, you know, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, whatever it is, you know, work 12 hours if you have to, but work on your own terms. Yes. Do it. And, you know, and, you know, that conversation was literally last night. So it's made me think, okay, what do I push now? How do you motivate yourself with the day job that, you know, you come and you've been to Amsterdam, or you've danced on a stage where Lewis Hamilton and Gary Lineker's watching you? Yeah. How do you then come back down and go to work on a Monday morning? You know, I've always enjoyed majority of my jobs. I've always enjoyed them. They're either customer facing, you know. But how do you switch? I'm not, you know, it's a performance sometimes over the phone as well. Yeah. So when I'm going to see someone, you know, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever it is, sometimes it is just it literally is a performance. But luckily I enjoy everything that I do. If I don't enjoy it anymore, I will just, all right, I want to change. What else can I do now? I want to do something different. Okay. So in your head, you're still dancing even at work? Yeah, even work. Brilliant. This thing, whatever. Yeah. And just the more deals start going, you know. Yeah. The guys just say, oh, what are you smiling about? Oh, nothing, yeah, just, yeah, whatever, just working away. And I say, yeah, just, you know, the door's always going in my head. Is the business there, or is there something that you guys could do that would make this full-time? You know, maybe running more classes. Okay. With running more classes, obviously come that responsibility that you've got to be there. Okay, so, you know, we're getting to that now. So, you know, you run an amazing class for, tell me the age group first. Where does it start from? Who's the youngest? So who's the youngest we've got is 5. Okay. Right, anything from 4 years onwards, right? Yeah. Or else they're just spinning around. Yeah. But yeah, so 4 onwards. So we've got like a kids class. So 4 to like, say, 16. We have the 4-year-olds up to say about 11 or 12. The Pride of Punjab, we have about 40 kids there. They run, one of my colleagues, they run that class, and then if they're good enough and they, you know, they can learn the steps, you know, choreography, and they've got a bit of rhythm about themselves, then they move on to my class, which is the Cubs of Punjab. So Cubs of Punjab is our team, mixed kids, you know, boys and girls, ranging from 16 to our youngest is 8. Okay. What's the mixture between? What's the ratio between boys and girls? I'd say
60% girls, 40% boys.
So more girls, huh?
Yeah, more girls.
Why do you think that is?
There's a change
Okay.
in the generation now. You know, girls can do what boys can do as well.
Of course.
Sometimes even better.
Yeah.
You know, the international Bhangra scene, there's some wicked female dancers. Sometimes they're better than us.
Yeah.
Boys, they're wicked.
Yeah.
So, and I encourage females, you know, young girls, because, you know, I think gone are the days of, you know, you got to learn how to cook, you got to learn how to do this and all this, or get married off. Generations are changing now.
Yeah, those stereotypes have gone, haven't they?
Yeah. And now parents are encouraging their girls, look, you go do what you want, make something of yourself. We don't want you to be dependent on a man. 100%. So I encourage my girls more than the guys.
Yeah.
Listen, come forward. I want you to be the, you know, the main person on my class. You know, I've had girls who have come to my classes, they've been bullied. So they're the quietest ones right at the back. They've got a bit of rhythm, wicked. Move a bit more forward. Because kids love watching somebody else dance in front of them. They'll follow someone.
Yeah.
And eventually those kids then, if they're really good, they come to the front. That girl who was bullied, really quiet, now is a chatterbox who just does my head in.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Can dance be taught, or is it natural that people are gifted?
It can be taught. But I don't know, something about it just being natural.
So do you see kids and you just think,
You
You
just
got
see
it?
kids naturally, yeah. So I've got
Yeah.
this kid right now, right, Dilraj. So coronavirus is happening, right? I've started these Instagram live classes. Now I'm doing Zoom classes. And I had a gentleman who approached me and said, look, my kid's always dancing, but I want him to learn. I've seen your videos. You're wicked, you're amazing. You've got so much energy about you. I want you to teach him. All right, wicked, let's do it. Teaching this kid. He's about 6 or 7. Within the first class, he was getting this like follow Punjab. I was just blown out of my mind.
right,
So it's like it's basically like a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? All right. I thought he was fluking it. The hardest step is a triple tap. It's like a proper folk step. 1 and 2, 3, 4. He got it. I was like, oh my God. Stop the class. Give this kid a round of applause.
wow.
And he's just like, what's going on? First class. And I just like to his mum, listen, he's doing wicked. You know what? Yeah. Keep him coming here.
Okay.
And, you know, we've had about 4 classes with this kid now. And, you know, the beat's there. You
What
can
could
just see
he-
the smile, the shoulders, it's just all going.
Okay, what could he go and do? You know, because if you play football, as you said, you can
Yeah.
aspire to be, you know, Paul Pogba, you could be
Yeah.
aspire to be Beckham.
Yeah.
What could you aspire to be? What could you get to
Well,
if you were really good at Bhangra?
not just Bhangra. I would, you know, recommend, you know, kids to do all sorts of dance. You know, there's street dance, hip hop, whatever.
Sure, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is you've got, you know, somebody that's come along
Yeah.
that's a natural.
Yeah.
So where could that dancing take him?
He could be a music teacher. He could be a dance teacher. He could be doing classes in the evenings. He could be doing one-to-ones. You know, I've got a friend who just does weddings, only choreography. Obviously now time's obviously a bit harder.
Yeah.
Or you could just be doing like showbiz. But then again, like to me, it's like, okay, showbiz, wicked. I'm still doing the weddings. I'm still getting like people, oh mate, you smashed it, man, wicked. You know, you're dancing away. At the end, you get all the people up on the dance floor and they're just like hugging you out. Oh my God, yeah, dancing with you, everything, right? So you feed off that energy, you feed off the bump,
Of course.
as they call it, right? So I'm 34 and I'm still doing it, right? I'm thinking I'll still go for like another year or 2, you know, whenever my knees give up, 40 maybe, I don't know, right? I'm still going to go, right? Until I get other responsibilities I need to attend to.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got the kind of like gig life, but you potentially could make it into something more. You could have just your own academies open up that you run, give responsibility to other people. You know, but again, it's about risking it.
We talked about that earlier, didn't
Yeah.
we? Yeah.
Now
so-
I've got a house, mortgage to pay for.
Yes.
So you're like, okay, I've got a job. It's paid well, pays for my lifestyle. This is just a top up, wicked.
Yeah.
So do I risk it?
Okay. So
That's where it is, yeah.
interesting. Difficult choices, I guess.
That's it, yeah.
So So we talked about the Cubs of Punjab. So what about the Lions then, the senior group? So people progress to that?
Yeah, so we've had a youngster, Manraj. He's been with us for about a good 5-6 years. He's about 16, 17 now. Him and another kid, they've just been, with us for 5 years, non-stop training. And, about a good year solid of just, training him. Now he's with, 34-year-old, 36-year-old dancing with us.
Fantastic.
Doing shows.
How old is he now?
He's 17 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the gifted
Yes.
individuals that you get, girls and boys.
Yeah.
And it's encouraging
Yeah.
that, our girls are doing just as well, if not better than the boys.
We've got a Lionesses team as well. So
Okay.
it's an all-girls team.
Yeah.
Wicked group of girls. And they meet up as well once a week to do their trainings. But they've got to juggle. It's harder for them as well because now they're going to university. Someone's gone Manchester, someone's in Birmingham, someone's here. So, it's hard for females, but you know what? There's a lot of really good female teams out there. They can make it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Tuesday evenings.
Yeah.
What time do they start? What time do they finish?
So kids classes are 6:30 till 7:30.
Uh-huh.
Adults are from 7:30 to 8:30.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, if we've got enough energy, which we always do, 8:30 till 9:30 is the Lions of Punjab practices.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does that happen?
In West Brom, a school called Joel Salters Academy.
Okay.
But obviously COVID's hit now, so none of those classes have been going.
Right.
But I was actually the first one in March to just start off my own page at Parambeer Samrai, started doing live classes, Instagram live classes, started doing them every week, non-stop. And then I just thought, you know what, I was, making some bit of money from these classes.
So you charge for those? They're
Now I
payable?
started charging.
Okay.
So I've got a really good, strong, parents who want their kids to still learn, to still do a bit of fitness as well. People are just in front of their computer games now.
Yeah.
So I'm still doing these Monday classes, Tuesdays and Thursdays now. So I started doing classes.
Okay.
And now next week I'm starting doing adult classes as well.
Brilliant. That's
So
so
yeah,
good.
just you know what, let's just obey let's do, the safety rules of the 2 meter distance. Let's do that. Let's do it safely. But let's just start getting back out there. Gym's open, so I'm sure we can have these places open as well.
Look, life's got to carry on, hasn't it?
100%, yeah.
My belief is that COVID's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away anytime soon. There's no magic solution. It takes 20, 30 years to develop a vaccine. I don't know how we're going to get a vaccine overnight for this thing.
I don't know, it's crazy.
Right? But look, we've got to be careful,
Yep.
but got to live with it.
100%.
And we've got to start living some kind of normal life.
Yep.
Because otherwise, we just become prisoners in our own homes, don't we? And nothing
100%.
goes on and time goes by.
That's right.
Because this year, that's almost over. It's November next week.
Yes.
All of a sudden, if you've just sat at home doing nothing,
Yeah.
it's gone, isn't it?
That's it.
Right? So opportunity waits for no man.
100%.
So you're starting live classes again.
Yep.
And, you touched on something earlier, which was that, parents want their children to learn.
Yep.
Is that how they get introduced, that the parents, when you're 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, bring children to these classes because they have an interest?
I think parents have an interest. The other side I've seen is the kids start coming through, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. They just listen to Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Or grime music or whatever it is, and that's all they listen to. Obviously, they've got different sets of friends at school, so whatever the friends are listening to, that's all they listen to. There's no Punjabi-ness at home. There's no culture. They only speak English. So we want to bring that Punjabi-ness back, that culture back into the household.
Okay.
So what I've been told by parents is that the Gurdwara is a bit too strict, or this, that, the other.
Well, there's no Bhangra at the Gurdwara, is
Oh,
there?
there's no Bhangra at the Gurdwara. But I think what parents are trying to do is find like a happy medium.
Yeah.
And I think Bhangra is wicked. Like I said, I've had the kids who've been bullied and they've become chatterboxes. And now kids who just listen to Bhangra music, that's it. They're speaking Punjabi. They're asking me awkward questions. Oh, what does this mean? And what does this mean? Or they're asking their parents, what does this song mean? And now these kids are speaking Punjabi, whereas before it's, no, mom, they wouldn't never ever respond in Punjabi.
Yeah, it's a great way, isn't it? As
Yeah.
you said, you know, I've done some work with the Gurdwaras, and they have Punjabi classes do some wonderful work.
100%, yeah.
But like you said, sometimes they're not for everybody.
Yeah.
So this is a great alternative.
100%, yeah.
And of course, you know, if you are musical, if you do want to dance, if you know, for those kids that don't want to sit in a classroom, because at the end of the day, you know, Punjabi classes tend to be run in the evenings. So kids have been to school all day. So then it's like an extension of school.
That's it.
But I suppose, you know, being introduced to Bhangra is less formal.
100%.
You get to jump around and have a bit of a laugh.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is of course, is that, you know, especially when you get to those times when kids can, you know, find wrong things to do, is what I'll call them.
Yeah.
There's great camaraderie there, and you're keeping kids off the streets.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, keeping them away, out of harm's way. So that must be a great feeling for you guys and for parents and children themselves.
Yeah, it's either they're out and about, you know, doing something on the streets, or they're in doing Bhangra classes. You know, I get approached left, right, centre. Oh, could you do a class here? Could you do a class there? There's only so much that one person can do.
Of course.
But that's something, you know, parents, kids, for some reason they see me as a role model.
Of course.
I know, my friends know, my wife knows, you know, what kind of guy I am. And sometimes I love being silly, sometimes serious. I'm a bit of everything. And I'm just surprised that, you know, this kid looks up to me. So I've got to really be responsible around them, you know. And, you know, the early days slipped up a little bit here and there, you know. You're not listening, or this, that, the other. But I've grown from it, and kids have grown as well.
Yeah.
And
Well, you learn, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you grow into the role. So, you know, it's a wonderful position to be where people see you as a role model.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel more responsible? Are there things that you'd like to do that you don't do now?
No, I think I still go about my day.
Okay.
Do whatever it is I want to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, just you got to be careful of social media. You know, you have friends or so-called friends, you know, you got to be careful what people are recording as well. So you got to be careful. But now I'm still going about my day, you know, messing about, having a good laugh with the, you know, lads or friends or family. So yeah, I don't think it's really stopped me much.
Sure.
But it's the way, you know, the etiquette and the way you treat the kids. You got to be careful. You know, kind of like treat them as if they're like my niece and nephew.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I treat everyone, yeah.
Of course. Well, you're in a position of responsibility, aren't you?
Yes, that's right,
And
yeah.
then parents have left you in charge, and it's great to know
Yeah.
how seriously you take that.
Yes.
Because you are having an effect on these young souls, aren't you? But it's wonderful though. You know, you are obviously a great role model. You know, you live your life as a Sikh,
Yep.
right? And you know, you're preserving culture. And you know, I'm not for that we should hang on to everything, because not everything that we do or our customs is good. You know, we've got a great opportunity here to take the best of everything, haven't we?
100%, yeah.
You know, and Britain itself is a great melting pot for all sorts of people. And we can take the best of everything, can't we?
100%.
And Sikhi itself is great guidance for how we should live our lives.
Yep.
And do you follow the religion?
Yeah, I'd say I follow it to a certain degree. You know, I'm not fully Amritari.
It's fine, yeah.
You know, do my part when I can. You know, probably should do it more. But you know, it's a really good way of guidance. You know, this colour represents a lot of things.
Yeah.
But you know, I think one of the amazing messages that I've got this is that, you know, if you're going to do wrong, steal or something, that colour should just remind you of who you are, where you come from. You know, normally the guys, people will just see me in a patka. When I wear a pug, you're wearing a crown.
Yes.
I always feel that extra like responsibility of, oh, chati bar kad, kind of like you feel that a little bit more pride. You know, my boss was saying this morning, like, you look so much better. You should always wear your pug. But, you know, it took me 3 times to tie my pug today.
Yeah, I agree with your boss.
Yeah.
I understand, you know, some of our guys wear baseball hats, wear patke and all sorts of things. But when you see a turban, that's proper, isn't it?
100%, yeah. It's just like, you know, shan sadi vakriya.
It is.
100%. So we look amazing, you feel amazing. There's an aura about you, you know. I know I've been different all day at work, you know, not slouching or anything in front of the desk or anything. You like that. You're proud about yourself, you know. Everyone who's looking at me like, "Kedda, sat sri akal." what's going on today, you know? I'm just like, yeah, what's going on, isn't it? So, you know, I always get that. So, you know, I try to obviously do it more. But again, it's like, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Same with my Bhangra, it's got to be perfect. When I teach my class, it's got to be perfect. There's nothing, you can't be second.
Yeah, but that says so much about you as an individual,
Yeah.
and to the standards that you hold yourself. And the beautiful thing about, you know, the Sikh community is, like, obviously, you know, when I see you with your pag, I know Visada Singh Bra, hai na? And you obviously don't know who I am, so I will always go up and say Sat Sri Akal Baji or Sat Sri Akal Uncle Ji. And, you know, and it's really interesting that, you know, some of the media, especially in India, you know, always making jokes about the Sikh community. But I think as a worldwide, you know, you see a Sikh with a turban on, you know that that's a good citizen, that person will help me. And we're being 100%. Seen that like that increasingly in this world today, aren't we?
100%. You know, you look at Ravi Singh Khalsa Aid.
Yes.
You know, you just see him and it's like, oh, wicked, what's he doing now?
Yeah.
Where is he helping now?
Yeah.
You know, he's changed that image of all these countries that he's going to. Well, that's a long beard. What is that? Osama bin Laden, or what is that? You know, he's changing that image. You know, I used to get it when I was in Manchester. You know, I'd play on the act, boom, like, you know. But now I'm like, no, I'm a Sikh, Punjabi. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, wicked. And then there's, you know, the Bhangra or the Ting-a-ding-a-ling comes along.
Yeah.
You know, but it's about education. Let people know what we're about. A lot of people are knowing what we do. You know, whether it's the World War One or World War Two. You know, how we've, you know, the Sikh community, Punjabi community has, you know, helped.
Hugely.
Massively.
Hugely.
The statue, Smethwick High Street, opposite there.
That's right.
So, you know, people are still being naive, but then also when they're around us and you've got that aura about yourself, they kind of respect that as well.
We had Ravi Singh on the show a few weeks ago. You know, wonderful, wonderful human being. And as you said, you know, one of the most prominent Sikhs today, probably, in the public domain. And obviously people like Daljit, you know, have made it so cool to wear a turban. We touched on something, and, you know, one of the things obviously is that there's very little or no Sikh history taught in schools in this country. So our kids don't actually know the role that the Sikh community played in World War One and World War Two. The Gurdwara doesn't do it.
No.
Right? You know, none of that goes on. You know, we had Bobby Vansal talked about Maharaja Ranjit Singh and his exploits. And, you know, do you ever think that, you know, you could incorporate some of that for our children, you know, even if it's a quick 10-15 minutes into your classes, that because we have a very, very proud history.
100%.
And it's not very well documented.
No.
And we don't seem to be able to tell our future generations how much pride and how much history we have and what we actually went through to maintain Sikhi.
100%. I think thing is only have an hour with the kids. How much can we do in that hour?
Of course.
And obviously you can kind of have that short span of attention. So it's one of those where, you know, I've got ideas which I want to hopefully bring into it, which I'm not going to reveal all today. But, like, you know, you see some dance schools and they have like different nights. So, you know, I was part of like a winter showcase where they talk earlier this year. We did all sorts of Bhangra performances, you know, the different folk elements with Vasta Punjab, you know, and they're talking about health and how Bhangra plays a really good health benefit. So, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, talk a bit more about our culture, about our history, you know, and maybe where every quarter Lions Pride of Punjab hold an event and we talk about something different other than just Bhangra. It is something that, you know, we could do. But then again, weekends, everyone's doing something busy, weddings. So, you know, something that I wanted to touch upon this year when I saw the winter showcase that I went to, that I performed, and I thought, this is wicked. You know, we need to bring something like that to Birmingham. But hey ho, times are times right now.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, a lot of us now talk about being busy. Yeah. The question to ask is, busy doing what? Right?
100%, yeah.
So busy watching TV, busy sitting around.
Yep.
Yeah. Busy watching football. Yeah. Which is watching somebody else work or busy working on yourself.
Yeah. That's it, 100%.
Right? So I used to sit at home on a Sunday, you know, watch a couple of games of football,
Yeah.
watch Formula One, and Sunday's gone, right?
Yeah.
So I decided that actually what I'm actually doing here is watching other people work and other people earn money.
Yeah.
So footballers on enormous amounts of money, but your subscription's paying for that,
Yeah.
right? So that £100,000 a week he's making is being paid out of the direct debit that you're paying.
By us, yeah.
So, you know, and I decided that I wouldn't do that anymore. So I'm very selective now in terms of what I watch, because I want to be working on the things that are important to me in my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that one thing that would be really interesting to look at is do perhaps a Saturday once a quarter and do something that's a bigger event that talks about some of our history. Because, you know, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, you know, the Gurdwaras actually don't teach us anything, right? We go, we'll listen to the bard, we'll listen to some kirtan, but there's no sermon, is there? There's nobody delivers anything to talk to us about Sikhi.
There's a few. I disagree. There are a few.
So which Gurdwara is teaching us about Sikhi on a Sunday?
I don't know about specific Gurdwara, but I know about pages and how they go to Gurdwara. So like...
That's very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very different. You know, what I'm saying is that, you know, there needs to be an element somewhere that our youngsters can go and learn about our community and our history.
I know Smethwick High Street do some sort of, you know, things on a Sunday. They do it throughout the evenings as well. There's what are they called now? Basics to Sikhi.
Yes, very good.
They do these in London. I don't really know if they do much in Birmingham. Yeah. But they do a lot. They would obviously, you know, by Jagraj Singh, you know, God rest his soul. Yeah. You know, he was doing amazing work as well. So my question, I think someone said this to me. Oh, that's a wicked question. You go to these Gurdwara, go to the weddings, parts, building funds. Every Gurdwara talks about building funds. There's probably one or two that I know that never talk about that. But every other UK Gurdwara talks about building funds. Absolutely. Appeal after appeal. No Gurdwara ever has a Pacharak fund. Why are we not? You know, all the Gurdwaras out there, if anyone's watching this, why do we not have a Pacharak fund? And what would that do? Well, that would put people into a position like this who could then go out, whether it's to schools, whether it's at the Gurdwara, you know, give someone a full-time job, pay them to go and do this. So whether it is a Sunday evening, Saturday, whatever day, right? Come out and we're going to have one in English. You know, get the whole community out. There's loads of kids in Smethwick, for example. Absolutely. A lot of Eastern Punjabis that have come through as well that speak wicked Punjabi. But again, as you've just said, our Sikh history is left behind, our Punjabi culture is left behind. No one knows about Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Nope. No one knows about, you know, Dalip Singh, Hari Singh Nalwa, all these amazing people. You know, our gurus, Baba Deep Singh. Yeah. You know, Maharaj. All these people. Or I'm not even mentioning any of the ladies, you know, in our culture as well, or in our religion. There's so much that our females can take from it as well. Not enough being done. There's a lot, obviously, you know, but then you've got to go and search for these websites, you know, which are doing amazing work. But, you know, as you've said, I've taken something from us sitting down here today about I'm watching other people. So, you know, it makes me think. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think Gurdwara, you know, there needs to be something different. You know, there's a few pages, you know, who are controversial. You know, like, you know, Sikh Youth UK. Yeah. I think do an amazing job. You know, something that are really hard hitting. But that's just the way they do things. Wicked. But there's other groups who do things nice and mellow. Wicked. I think it's a wicked balance. Yeah. I think the Gurdwara should really be promoting and giving these guys, these groups, these people that I mentioned, a lot more funding. Get them out there and teach your kids. Teach these kids. You know, I went to a Gurdwara and Nainasar Gurdwara in KPL Smethwick, and they would do an hour and a half class. After that, the Babaji would talk, do Kirtan, and then they would tell you stories. Beautiful. Tell us stories of what our Gurujis went through. Yeah. You know, One was about Guru Nanak Dev Ji asked, I think it's Bhai Mardana, about the truth. Go and find me truth. He went to all the shops. No one could sell him. No one could sell him or give him any information about truth. He went to all these shops and then eventually came to the one last place. And he goes, the truth is that we're all going to die at some stage. That is the one truth. Now, how many kids know that story? Or how many people could say, oh, the Qara thing that I mentioned about that?
I think the thing is this, you know, as you said, you know, when the knees give up and all the rest of it. So there's a role for you in the future.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you were speaking, I would listen to you, let alone all the kids that are out there, because we just don't hear this stuff, you know, and it frustrates people like me because we've got so much money in our gurdwaras. You know, the other thing I feel is that I don't think they let people of your age and with your kind of views into their little inner circle, do they? Yeah, the old men hang on to that power, don't they?
As well as the Gurdwara though,
yeah,
I would, you know, say, you know, you're not too old from me, but my parents' generation, yours older, they've just come here to work, and left the kids. And either the Bibi Baba or someone will look after them. Where were our parents in all this? They could have educated us maybe, or maybe they weren't educated about these things. You know, like all these cultural things, you know, go to a wedding and the guy puts some sindoor or anything or whatever it is, or why do we put, you know, at a wedding to put the hand on the wall? Why do we do all these things?
Yes.
Mum, why? I don't know, just Bibi Baba told me.
Well, look, incredible questions.
Yeah.
And, you know, time waits for no man. So, you know, we must do this at some other point because there's so many interesting subjects that we've covered today.
Too many. I thought we were talking about Bhangra all the way through, but we've just touched on loads of things.
Bhangra is part of our life, isn't
100%,
it?
yeah.
Right. And the work that you're doing is absolutely incredible. And, you know, how do people get hold of you? How do they attend these classes?
So you got two Instagram handles. You got Lions of Punjab, Lions Bhangra. Instagram, they're on Facebook as well. You've also got myself at Parambeer Samrai, Instagram and Facebook. I use Instagram more. You know, all my details are there. You know, kids want to learn anything, just get in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my time's available for a lot of people. Yeah.
Right, guys, that's all we have time for today. Lots of interesting points. We probably raised more questions than answers today. And as Parambeer said, we thought that we were going to talk just about Bhangra, but, you know, we're Punjabis, we're Sikhs. There's so many questions that are unanswered within our community, especially for our youngsters. You know, we had things like Soho Road where we could go and feel that atmosphere. Those places are disappearing. So now we need people like this young man. There's lots of them around to teach us certain aspects of our culture, certain aspects of our lives, what there was. And, you know, the Gurdwara's got a fantastic role to play. They can play it, but we need younger people to get involved. You know, the older guys are getting older, they're getting tired, go and get involved in the Gurdwara. And, you know, we talked about alternative careers today. You know, you don't have to be an accountant, you don't have to be a lawyer. If you've got a passion somewhere else, you know, fight for it. Speak to your parents, speak to your uncles, speak to your school teachers, speak to whoever you need to speak to. There's so much we can do. But thank you for joining us today, and we will see you on the Kam Johal show sometime very, very soon. Thank you.